Have you ever been scrolling Instagram or reading a founder story and thought, oh, she's so lucky? I'm Alicia Mafadia and I want to welcome you to She Got Lucky, where luck is just the beginning. After building 3 global brands, creating next level wealth through my social media, and being announced as Instagram's first Reels Pro, I know that there's a lot more than luck to getting started, and that with the right strategy, mindset, and drive, almost anyone can create a business that feels too good to be true or too fun to be considered work. In this podcast, we explore the stories of women who've made their mark, not just by chance, but through trust, resilience, and a belief in their capabilities. We'll dive into the actual strategies, stories, and secrets of success. So, if you're ready to chase your dreams, and instead of wondering how she did it, make it happen for yourself, tune in and let's redefine what it means to be lucky in the world of business.
Woohoo! All right. So, Hannah, thank you so much for joining me on the She Got Lucky podcast.
Oh my God, I'm so excited to be here. I've followed you for years, so this is a massive honor, and I'm just excited to see what comes out of our mouths today.
Yes, amazing. So, first of all, I can't get into anything before we dive into your She Got Lucky story, because anyone who comes across your, how bold you are, how you stand out, the success that they can see going through your socials and, and your brand that you've put out there. It's so easy for someone to think, oh, she must have got lucky doing this. She must have, but I know that there's been so much that have gone into all the moves and every step and everywhere you are. So do you have a She Got Lucky story that you can think of?
Yes, I have like a few, but I'll be succinct. My main She Got Lucky story is that when people now see my Instagram account, they see my business, I think they assume that I got lucky. And actually, not many people will know that I initially started my Instagram because I had a major knee surgery years ago and I couldn't walk for 3 months and I had to relearn how to walk. And that's how I started my Instagram account, by sharing probably one of the hardest things that I've literally ever been through. And that is really what started it all. So, and I look back on that and think like, well, that was luck, because if that thing hadn't happened, I wouldn't be where I am. But I do get a lot of those assumptions like, oh, you're just so good at what you're doing. And it's like, actually, I've been on Instagram since 2014. Like, it's been a long time. And in those 10 years, that's how I am where I am.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't luck,
Yeah, absolutely. And because, you are very unique in what you do, and we'll get into that in a moment. But what do you think if you could really break down, it's like, yes, things work out for you. Yes, there's an element of that. But if you could break down 3 of the biggest things that you've mastered to get to where you are right now, what would you say that is?
Oof. Mindset. And I mean more than your mindset, because I feel like mindset is such a blanket stroke, but like overcoming my trauma, all the things that make me feel scared, all the things that make me feel not good enough, like all of that healing, mastered it, because it never goes away. Like, you keep on just healing and you unpeel another layer. So not a master, but also a master at just doing the work. And I feel like that's one of the biggest things. And I feel like I do it in a way that it doesn't feel scary anymore. Like, I would say that the mindset work that I do is fun. And that's why I keep on coming back to do it, as opposed to avoiding it, like I feel like I did for years. Messaging, for sure, as well, which like you will know when you get it and when you understand it, you're just like, yeah, I know who my ideal client is now. I know what they want to hear. I know what's going to light them up. And then you feel excited to go out every day and create content, which I guess brings me to the third one, which is the consistency piece again, which you will know so well. of like, you just show up and you post, you get it done, you take the action. And I feel like neither of us would be here if we hadn't done that. So definitely those two things: mindset, messaging, consistency. Absolutely.
Yeah. I love it. And I think, I think the consistency piece is such a big one, but not in the way that everyone's spoken about again and again and again. It's a case of showing up even when the days are hard, showing up even when you don't feel like it, showing up even when, things in your personal life might be hitting the fan, because, like the way that one of my mentors described it to me that just landed was, if you were the CEO of Apple, because you are, not Apple, but you're the CEO of your business. And if the CEO of Apple had a tough day, but had, a meeting or had a really important thing to show up for the business, would he be like, so sorry, absolutely everybody, I didn't have a good sleep. It's that time of the month. Family's been driving me insane. I can't post, or I can't show up, or I can't, stepping into that CEO mode allows you, in a sense, to be more consistent even when things aren't working in your favor.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And I feel like even if you were like just working in a coffee shop, you would show up regardless, right? Like, I feel like there's such a different expectation for when it's our own personal business. And I feel like a lot of the people that are listening to this podcast probably have a personal brand. And we think that it's different for some reason, but it really isn't. Like, you need to treat your business and all the tasks that go into that as if you've got like a manager who's like breathing down your neck, like, have we done this yet? Hello? Because that's how you're going to get stuff done in your business.
Yep. Absolutely. So let's dive into how you have become. Now, I know that you say UK's number one tapping queen, but I'm just going to call it here. I'm just going to say you're our number one tapping queen, you're my number one tapping queen, and you're the number one tapping queen. All right. So for anybody who has no idea what this is, and they're like, Alicia, have you brought on like a tap dancer, or like what is this? Can we go back to the start at how you found the power of tapping, and really then we can dive into how anyone listening can get started with this?
Yeah, so people are like, what on earth is this? It's also called EFT, or emotional freedom technique. And I found it like through a podcast. I was listening to a podcast, and this woman, Gala Darling, was doing it. Like, she was a guest on someone else's. And I remember like downloading her 4-day freebie or something. This was like in 2018. I was living in Bali at the time. And I was like working at a yoga studio. I was literally making like £750 a month when I was working at this studio. And this is kind of what part of my story is, like how I moved from that to now making what I make now. And I remember doing her tappings on a holiday with my boyfriend at the time. And he was like, you keep on saying that you want to have 10K months, and I just feel so sad for you because you're not making them. And I just feel you getting more sad. And I was like, you don't understand what's going on right now. You better wait and watch, see what happens. And then I did it on and off for a few years. But honestly, like, I got out of touch with my more spiritual side for a long time. Like from 2020 to 2022, I think I avoided talking about it in business. So I was tapping less and less. And then I started working with my therapist, nothing to do with business, other stuff from childhood that I really wanted to work on. And she mainly uses tapping. And so I tried her style of tapping, which was very different to the one that I'd learned, because there are different styles. And then I did it with my mentor. And I think nearly 2 years ago, I was like, yeah, I just need to get qualified in this so I can do it with my clients, because it's literally changing my life. And so I did my certification, and I do it every single day. The clients that see the biggest transformations, that literally like blast through their fears, their limiting beliefs, even like if they're feeling sick, like really random things, they just keep on growing and evolving higher and higher. And it's because of this amazing modality that my boyfriend refers to it as like being a cult leader, because he like hears me like saying things and my clients repeating it back because he just like doesn't get it. Why do I have these like hilarious boyfriends that don't understand what I do? I don't know. But it's just, you have to do it. You have to do it in order to understand, I feel.
So talk me through what actually, because I've done tapping before, and maybe that's one of the reasons
Mm-hmm.
why as well I was like, oh, I love this, right? So I've
Yeah.
done tapping before with my hypnotherapist, and I think it's absolutely incredible. But for anyone who is not exactly sure how it works,
What
what it
yeah.
actually consists of, and perhaps as
Mm.
well for anyone who is a little bit like, I really like, if 10 years ago Alicia was sitting here, she wouldn't be so open to this, because I think a lot of
Yeah.
people put up these boundaries of, oh, that's too woo woo, that's like that
Right.
wouldn't work, that's too silly. And when you can just allow yourself to think, okay, maybe, but what if, like what if,
Mm.
what do I have to lose to try this? So talk me
Mm.
through what tapping actually is, and perhaps
Mm-hmm.
as well, if you explain it to someone who may not be completely like, oh yes, this is
Mm-hmm.
going to work straight away, or not straight away, I mean like this is going to work, they're a little bit on the edge, like not sure.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yes. So before I explain how, there is so much research being done right now in the scientific medical community about tapping, or EFT in particular, and it's proven, or like clinically proven, to help US veterans with PTSD, and they see a significant reduction in their PTSD and also anxiety. I don't have the stats up for you, but when they tap on something consistently, they're seeing this massive reduction, which is huge, right? So there are these like army vets who probably don't have any connection to like woo-woo stuff at all, who are finding this super helpful. And I feel like that just goes to show the power of this technique. And there's also scientific research coming out about it helping improving eyesight for people that have eyesight problems. Like there's so much going on with it that it's really exciting. And I feel like soon there's going to be so much more evidence to support it, which is really cool, because I think sometimes, when we're doing something woo-woo, it can feel like, why would this work? Like, is there any evidence? And there is, which is really, really cool. So it was created utilizing traditional Chinese medicine's meridian lines, which is this idea that there are these lines or points in the body that signify different emotions that are also connected to different organs. So you tap on these, and the guy that came up with it was just tapping, and I think he realized that when he voices his affirmations, or he voices his fears, or things that are blocking him, he would be able to move them quicker through the body. So when I say tap, imagine there's someone in front of you in a queue, and you just need to ask them a question. With 2 fingers, you would just lightly tap them on the shoulder, and we are tapping on different points throughout the body. Like one of them's on the side of the hand, there's one on the top of the head. And then you can also do free tapping, where you literally just tap anywhere on the body and say what you're thinking. So if you're, for example, say that you're scared of flying and you're at the airport, you could tap and just say like a few sentences over and over again, even if it's just on the top of your head, and be like, I am safe, everything's going to be okay, even though I'm anxious right now. And I think the great thing about tapping is that we address what the fear or the block is, because I feel like a lot of affirmation work, a lot of manifestation tools, we kind of bypass the scary thing, because there's all those things about, if you say this thing in your subconscious mind, you're implanting it deeper. But that's what I really loved about tapping, is that you say the negative feeling first, and then you say, but actually I'm here now, like I can feel the ground underneath my feet. And it's very intuitive in my mind. And I don't know if that gives you an explanation, but you
No,
basically
that's so
say,
good.
yeah, okay, good.
Yeah, no, that is so good. And I think going into that, it just like for anyone, it starts to make sense. And this is
Mm,
really exciting because this is a technique that could work for someone listening and could be
hmm
something that they try, and then all of like that's the part that I think really excites me with your work is the more you show
mm,
up, the more you deliver your message, the more that you do what you're doing, the more people get to find
mm,
out about this technique that has not only changed your
mhm.
life, but has changed so many others. So, with
Yeah.
your clients, what sort of like how do you bring tapping into your work?
That's a really good question. And I just want to say as well, like when I said earlier on, like the mindset work that I do that is fun, it's the tapping. And I feel like I should have said that at the beginning. It's something that I've been doing for like a year, but this is a good reminder for me, Alicia, to like actually just be like, I do tapping, like to get it out there and be more bold with it.
Yes.
But
Yes.
with my clients, if it's in a group, basically all of my group programs will have a tapping bundle in it that I've created and scripted based on what I know that those people will be experiencing, like fear of being seen, not being consistent with posting, or like being overly perfectionist with things, or like having tech fears, like when people are creating reels, if they feel like they're blocked with the technology side of things. So that's more like group. And then with my one-to-one clients, it would either be on a live call, like if they come to me with a specific problem and it's more mindset or there's something there, we would just tap, pause, check in, continue tapping. And I also do recordings for my one-to-one clients as well that they can do in the mornings or in the evenings, because I honestly feel like the daily tapping is what really shifted it for me, and when it was specific. And I'm also doing a tapping subscription soon as well, which I'm super excited about, so that people have access to like short, snappy ones every day.
That'll be
So yeah,
amazing. We need a
the number
tapping app.
one
We
tapping
need the
queen is
tap app.
coming. A tap app.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, that would be so good.
I love it. So let's talk through, and because what I really love as well is, we'll put all your details below, but I really, really do recommend, if you're listening and you're intrigued, you're interested, go and check Hannah out for many reasons, but even to she's got reels and that you can go and they're just short and you can actually try this. I've got a few saved so that I'm like, love this.
Oh,
Thanks, Han.
I love
Thank you. So that way you've got these techniques that you can use and you can lean on. And so Han, how do you actually come? I know that you said you've got a few scripted that are perhaps
that.
a little bit more, a lot more considered, a lot more sort of specific, and there's a lot more into it than just coming up on the spot. But can you talk
Mm,
through how? So say for example, all right, the person who's listening is they feel capped at that 10
mm,
15k mark, 20k mark. They feel capped. They just can't seem
mm,
to get past it, even though they've been trying and working on this for a few years, right? They're posting sort of consistent, but just this big overthinking comparison game and block is hanging over them. So, how would
mm.
you perhaps come up with, something to tap that would work for them?
This is so cool. I mean, I feel like with this, what I'm seeing is like there's a ceiling that they've created, right, with all these thoughts. So this would probably be more like a visual tapping of like, there's a ceiling above me. I can feel it. I can see it. What is blocking it? Why have I created this? Is there a part of me that still wants it? Like, is it in my body? And then when if anything comes through with that, like if it was a one-to-one, I would take notes, ask questions, and then it would be all about removing that damn ceiling and just getting higher and higher, which is what I love about the tappings is like you can just feel your energy expand and rise. So
Yes.
that's what I would focus on for that tapping for
Yeah.
sure, is like I don't need to compare myself anymore. I don't need to be looking at what other people are doing. And whatever it is, this is another good thing about tapping. You don't need to know what the block is. Like, I think so many of us want the answer. Like, I need to know why. Why am I blocking myself? Da, 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 da. Whereas actually with tapping, you can literally tap and be like, I don't actually know why this is happening, but I'm ready to let it go. I'm open to it leaving the body.
And so tapping, naturally seeing you is very, very good because you can see where you're tapping. But, you know, I know that I've done that. I've done it with my hypnotherapist, and I shut my eyes so I can really be connected. And she sort of talks through like under your eye and, you know, above your lip. So would you be able to give like a little bit of a demonstration maybe about like something that you do to start your day, or, you know, just a little sort of tap, just so we can experience what this is like, because like it is just so freaking powerful.
Oh my gosh, yes, let's do it. So how do you want your day to be today, Alicia? Tell me.
I want it to be productive. I want to be showing up boldly. I want to maintain my energy. And I want to move the needle forward. I want to finish up today feeling like, you know, I looked after myself, but I also moved that needle forward of perhaps even something that has been a little bit hard to do for the past few months, that I'm like, today's the day I get it done.
Okay, cool. All right. Are we going to tap together?
Let's do it.
Okay, we're going to start on the top of the head, just lightly tapping. And I will tell you as we move through the points. So if you do want to close your eyes down, go for it. And then all you need to do is repeat after me. I am so ready for today.
I am so ready for today.
And then we're going to move to...
Do I just do it in my head?
You can say it out loud if you want. Let's start again. I am so ready for today.
I am so ready for today.
And then we're going to move just above the eyebrows. Today is going to be an incredible day.
Today is going to be an incredible day.
Now to the temples. I'm going to take action.
I'm going to take action.
Now under the eyes, I'm going to be so bold.
I'm going to be so bold.
And anything that's been getting in my way under the nose now.
And anything that's been getting in my way.
Now to the chin. I am letting it go.
I'm letting it go.
Moving to the collarbones. Whatever this block is.
Whatever this block is.
Now to just under the armpits. I am willing and ready to let it go.
I am willing and ready to let it go.
Move back to the top of the head. We'll do one more round. And anything that I've been procrastinating on doing.
And anything that I've been procrastinating on doing.
Now to the eyebrows. I'm committing to myself.
I am committing to myself.
To the temples. That I'm going to get it done.
That I'm going to get it done.
Under the eyes. And I'm going to be so proud of myself at the end of the day.
I'm going to be so proud of myself at the end of the day.
Under the nose. For committing and following through.
For committing and following through.
To the chin. And even if I feel fear.
And even if I feel fear.
To the collarbones. Or if I feel a block.
Or if I feel a block.
To under the armpit. I'm going to commit and make it happen.
I'm going to commit and make it happen.
And we'll finish on the top of the head, because that is the kind of bold and powerful CEO that I am.
Because that is the type of bold, powerful CEO that I am.
Yes. And then let's just take a deep breath in. And now imagine you're exhaling through a straw with your mouth. Beautiful.
That is so freaking cool.
Oh, how do you feel?
Like, shift. Like, I felt good before. Like, I felt good before I had this podcast with you, woke up into this podcast with you on the other side of the
Yeah.
world. I felt good. But, like, this is what I love. This is what I love so much about what you do, Han, is, and, you know, for me, I instantly felt so excited because I already had an experience of tapping. But I really wanted to allow more people to see what you help with and the power of this, because that was so cool.
Good. This is the first time I've done it live on a podcast, and I loved it.
I loved it too. And I think especially because I've done it, like, as in, you know, if you do it with your eyes shut, you're experiencing it the same. You know, even if you're listening to the podcast and you can't see Han, you're still able to have that experience and that shift of what she helps with and what tapping can do. I love
Yeah,
it.
thanks for the opportunity to do that. I feel like it's
Thank
so
you.
powerful because, no, of course. I feel like women in particular, like for a long time, our voices were silenced. And so I feel like that's why tapping is so powerful, because not only are you tapping on these meridian points, which I really believe in because I've had, you know, acupuncture a lot, but you're also utilizing your voice. And I just feel like there's something so powerful for that, particularly for women.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that is so bang on. So, you know, and coming into perhaps yourself, and this is taking a bit of a step back to then keep going forward in our, you know, in our story, in our episode, and the way that this is just beautifully progressing is, you know, for you, I know that you've been through a lot on your own and in your life. And I know that, you know, just because you feel like you've perhaps healed, or, you know, you've done the work, and this goes for anyone, just, you know, it's like one of those things. It's like the work never ends. The work continues. The work continues. You know, you feel like you've really, you know, overcome something, and then when you move to that new level, new devil, right? And perhaps something from a trauma or from a past experience pops up again. And so, how do you now ensure that those past experiences, you know, when they do pop up, perhaps with tapping, how do you approach them so that way they don't become all consuming?
For me, with my journey, it's been a lot of inner child work. And I feel like for a long time, I really went to inner child, you know, circles or workshops. I lived in Bali for 2 years, so it's all about that stuff over there. And I never really fully understood what inner child work is. And then with tapping, there's a tapping technique where you go back and you revisit. Say, for example, there's like a memory that comes up. So I had like some physical abuse when I was younger, and that's part of why I have a lot of anxiety. It's much better now, but that's why I had depression for a long time. Like, it ties in. And being able to go back to younger me and give myself what I should have had in those moments, and then so many other moments, like even random ones at school when like a teacher tells you off, like they don't have to be big things. That for me was like the most profound healing ever. And then combining with like the more positive morning tappings, which I do. So similar to how we did, I've got like a few that I have recorded that are like motivational morning ones. So I think the combination of like the uplifting, that you've got this, you can be bold, and then also being soft and tender and really revisiting. Like, I've even got a picture of myself. You can't see it if you're listening to the podcast, behind me, like as a baby with my mum, just to always be like, that's who I'm coming back to. And that for me has been like the best gift. And I feel like so many people need that, and don't have like a real tangible way of like revisiting your inner child, but I feel like tapping really works.
Yeah, I love that. And you know, for your students, you know, if is there sort of like an introduction, like in the sense of when you're getting started with tapping, is there a
Mm.
way to sort of introduce it, like, you know, um like doing lots, or you know, just starting off with one a day, or starting off with
Mhm.
just this one, like, because you know, I can pretty much confidently say majority of the people listening probably have never heard of tapping, and every time we say it, they're
Mhm.
probably like in their head imagining a tap dancer, you know, and
Yeah.
they're rewriting what tapping is. And so how does one sort of take that step towards getting into it, other than coming and working with you?
Mm. I mean, I have a free video that I can give you guys a link to add to the show notes. I feel like that would be probably the best.
Yes. It's
Because then
Christmas.
you can do it. Yeah, and I feel like the evidence shows that when the scientific research they're doing, they're looking at repeated, like the
Mm,
same topic on repeat, because obviously this is how research studies are based. You have to have like that repetition,
yeah.
right? So the evidence is showing that when you focus on one topic with the tapping, then that's when you're going to see the biggest shift. So yeah, I'll give you guys the link for the morning one. There's a video or there's an audio, and just see how you get on with that as an introduction. It's like, I think it's 6 minutes, so it's not like a long
Yes.
one. Some of them are like half an hour. I feel like for me, I just love like a short one that's just like who
Yes.
I am. And if you want to start doing it for yourself and you start to feel like maybe even just writing the tapping points down, or literally Googling
Mm,
like tapping points or EFT points, have it up on your computer, just write down how you're feeling and then tap. Like if you're that kind of person that wants to do it for yourself, that would
mm,
be the other way of doing it. But I feel like being able to be guided by someone, like that's why I do my own recordings. Like I literally record them for
mm.
myself, because I feel like just it's like going to a yoga class. You can do it at home, but there's
Yeah.
something really powerful about being held through it, right?
Yeah, I love that. I love that so much. And you know, and coming in. So let's talk, Han. How, like, what are some of the ways that for your clients tapping
Mm.
your work as well, because your work is, it's more than tapping, you know, like
Mm-hmm.
you really do care about building that magnetic messaging, and you know,
Mm-hmm.
and the other key parts as well. So how has tapping been able to make shifts within some of your clients? Like, where were they, and then where have they been able to get to? Not just, obviously,
Mm-hmm.
again, I don't want to just break it down to just one component, but
Yeah.
how has tapping shifted that for them?
I have a really amazing one-to-one client who we started working together in 2019, and then she came back to me last year, and we've been working together since then for nearly a year now. She's a mum, she has a 1-year-old, and she runs a business. She has like, I think they have like 5 people working with them. And her biggest thing was that she had to work 24/7. So she had a newborn baby. She was absolutely exhausted. She was running this business. She already had a team, and she just couldn't like let go. Like she had this
Mm,
panic that she needs to do it all herself. And she taps every single day. Like when she's out for a walk with her baby, she'll be tapping. People are probably looking at her like, what the hell is she doing? But she doesn't care. And she now will message me. She's like, Hannah, I didn't work for 2 full days. Like I took 2 full days off. I was with my baby. I trusted the team. I've delegated. We've still made, I mean, I think January was like a 45K month for her or something crazy. So like the money shifts are so big. And then another client, I remember she hired me in December, and she was getting so many no's from her discovery calls. And I was like, I'm going to record you a discovery call tapping. I need you to do it. And she literally got, I think she got 9 yeses, like straight after. Like she had like loads of discovery calls booked. And she was like, okay, this is why I hired you. I was like, yeah, that's exactly why.
Yes. And I think that's so powerful to be able to
Yeah.
shift through blocks, shift through barriers. I think that is so,
Yeah.
so powerful. So let's dive into, because I definitely want to touch on, another key area of your work. And that is, helping your clients and really it's definitely you as well, as like your bold messaging. And it does tie into the tapping as well, right? Is because there is always going to be people who say things, think things, oh, that tapping thing's silly, whatever. And so I would love to know, you are always, in my eyes, so bold. You are so you, and you are really like, you're showing up for that person regardless. And so how do you capture everything that you've been through, everything that you offer, and really bring it into the content that you share?
I always think about the people that I watched and that inspired me. And I always think, imagine if they hadn't posted because they were scared. Imagine if they were worried about what so and so and so and so thought. I wouldn't have seen what they're doing. Maybe I wouldn't be where I am now. And another reason that I am so bold is because I think people are scared of judgment. I've literally had people, like big fitness bro accounts, use my reels to like do a comedy reel, like making fun of me. I've had, and like thousands of people commenting like, oh my God, her voice is so cringy. I've like had the people from the DMs being, I can't believe you talk about money. How dare you? Like I've literally had it all. And I'm absolutely fine. Like, obviously in the moment, sometimes you're a bit hurt, but because you can move through it, it just isn't a big deal. So for me, I'm like, I know that I can be bold. I can say it how it is. I can be myself. And yeah, people are going to judge me. And yet I'm absolutely fine. Like I made that joke earlier on about my boyfriend. There are some things that I do that he doesn't understand. It doesn't mean that I'm any less valuable. It doesn't mean that he's any less valuable either. Just like he's into classic cars and I don't care about them. It's like we're all allowed our own things. And I feel like if we think about other people's opinions, we won't ever do the things that we care about. So, and I want to wake up when I'm like on my I want to be on my deathbed and be like, I did it. I helped other women make money. I helped other women do what they wanted to do. I helped other women be powerful. That's my focus. And I make that vision brighter, louder, bolder than thinking about the people that are going to make fun of me, the people that are going to disagree, the people that are going to judge me. And that's what I also try and instill in my clients, because all my clients have a passion and a purpose just as big as mine.
Yeah. And I think, and coming back to that, because I think we all, when you hit that success or whatever, that level of success, that either it's you sort of dictating, yep, this is success, or somebody else saying, yeah, look how successful she is, right? There is always that level. There's always that experience of, it's one of the reasons why I've got the She Got Lucky podcast, because we get to dive deeper into those experiences. But just like what you said there, where you've had not only, the negative comments, the judgmental things, and, if you're listening, welcome to a space where we talk about money, and we're not here to shame you. We're not here to judge you. We will talk about it. We'll talk about it in this episode. We'll talk about it in more episodes. And we are normalizing this conversation. We are taking the power that we give money back, right? And so, Hannah, you just said that you've had people make fun of you. You've had people, all sorts of things. And so let's go back to that moment. Let's go back to perhaps, where you've had this bro fitness account come along, and they've found your reel, they've found your content, they've found you. And how did you find out about it? And then what moves did you make afterwards? Did you take some time off? Did you, how did you look after yourself and keep going after that?
The funny thing was, like, I know this guy, and he asked me permission first. He was like, I'd like to like use your audio. Can I make a video? I was like, yeah, that's cool. Like, maybe it'll get me some exposure, blah, blah, blah. And then honestly, when it came out, the comments and so in the ironic way, like I opened myself up to it because I was like, yeah, that's fine, go for it. Like at least he asked permission, you know, that some people could say like, well, you said yes. And then
So you did you realize that he was going to make like a joke of it when he was asking you?
I knew that it was going to be like funny, but I didn't realize how much of a piss take it was going to be. And then when the comments rolled in, I kind of thought, no, I've seen these videos before. Like I should have known this. And then I think he reposted it like a year later, not tagging me this time, had unfollowed me at this point. And like, if you like just the caption of like, if you do this shit, it was like a single on Valentine's Day thing. He was like, if you do this shit, then there's something wrong with you. And then just like the comments. So I think it almost burned even more because he'd got my permission from the first one and it was like meant to be all pally. And then he'd obviously decided along the way that like actually what he thought I was doing was really cringe. And then he like doubled down on it. And then it got like shared another time. And then just like like thousands. I feel like the first video got like 500,000 views or something crazy. And the second one got just as many. And just like, oh my God, her voice, ew, who talks like this? What the hell is wrong? Like all of the comments. And then I think with this guy as well, like he used to come into my DMs and be like, you need to get a proper microphone. How are you going to make 10K? Like he would like give me unsolicited advice because I feel like we knew each other a few years before all this happened. And yeah, it was just like the whole combination of all the things. And it was embarrassing, like, because my voice is something that we all have a thing with our voice. I think when we hear it back, we're like, oh my God, is that what I sound like? So to have somebody say that and like thousands of people say that, and because I've been single for so many years, it was about like embracing being single. Yeah, it did really hurt at the time. And then you just get over it. Like you think, actually, I don't care. Like, I know that sounds like very blanket and move on, but I think that happened and I woke up the next day and I woke up the next day and then it happened again a year later. And I was like, no, I'm good. Like, and people, people say, maybe you get this as well, but they call you like a snake oil salesman and just all these things, or like it's a pyramid scheme, or just like all of those things. And yeah, you just wake up the next day and you think, actually, no, I'm safe and I'm living out my purpose and I'm helping people. So if somebody doesn't get it, then
keep moving.
Yeah, you keep going forwards.
Yeah. Yeah, if you don't get what I'm here to do, if you don't get the work that I help my clients with, then go find someone else. Go keep moving on to someone who, like, and I think that's the other thing is like, whilst being completely yourself opens you up to crappy people, and they're out there. But in the same sense, it also, and I think as well is that a big block around like, oh, what if I say my harsh truth that people need to hear, my dream client needs to hear. But what if they turn off and they're like, I can't, like, I don't want to listen to this girl anymore. I don't want to follow this person anymore. Like, what if what I really want to say pushes people away? What if, and it's kind of like, but what about the people who literally hear that and they're like, done, I need to work with you, like in the same process of when you get super specific, when you are completely you, yes, there will be people who are like, like, all right, she had a washed down version and, I liked that. But now that I can see exactly who she is and what she does, this isn't for me. But at the same time, there will be people who are like, thank God. Like this was just a, meh account that I followed because there was a few tips and stuff. But now this is a person I need in my life. This is a person I need to work with. This is, and so instantly by just allowing yourself to go, all right, like if I was in like a safe chamber, like if I was in the cone of silence, right, and I could tell my dream client like exactly what they needed to hear right now, knowing that it would land in a way that was completely like really helpful, helped them get from, their first from their 5K months to 30K months. If I delivered that would happen. What would I say? And it's like, go out and say it. Go out and share that. Because as we've seen, as we've just spoken about with Hannah, when you put yourself online, yes, you open yourself to crappy people, negative things. But at the same time, you open yourself up to the most wild, magical, and insane opportunities that can change your life.
100%. And even some of my clients, like I'm very bold, as you said. I also can be like quite harsh. Like I've got a tough love way of mentoring, and my mum used to say that I was sharp tongued and cutthroat. And I used to like have a bit of a thing about that I was too mean or too blunt. And I had an event on Sunday, and some of my one-to-one clients I've been working with for a long time were there. And they were like, this is why we hired you, Hannah, because you just say it how it is. This is why we hired you, because you're not afraid to like sometimes say, don't take this the wrong way, but this isn't good enough. Like that's who I am as a mentor. And for so long I thought that was a negative thing. And now people literally pay me because of this thing. So it's in exactly the same light as like, oh, I'm scared that if I'm too specific, I'll repel people, I'll lose people. You probably will. That's not something to be scared of. And I think it's like there are two sides to every coin with a fear. There's like the fear, but then there's also the benefit that will come out of you leaning into this. And that's how you expand and grow, is you have to continually lean into the thing that you're scared of, because if you avoid it, you're never going to get anywhere.
I think, and something you just said, Han, really popped for me there. And there's a lot of advice out there, and if I had to break down one of the key parts of building what I've built, is because I doubled down on me. I'm the coach. I'm the one who can help you. I'm the one that, guides you through it. I'm the one my clients work with. And so doubling down on me in my marketing really made big results. But that in itself is kind of like one of those statements, and it's like, be authentic, or, show up. Just keep showing up and you'll see the results. It's like one of those wish-washy statements. But what you just said really, really helped, in the sense of a way that people can figure out, what does doubling down on me look like? It's like, your client said, this is why I work with you. This is why I decided to sign on with you. And it's like, put those statements down and finish them off. Why is it that your clients work with you? Why is it that your clients continue to work with you? Why is it? I remember for one of the copywriters that I was working with, she had a question in a branding questionnaire and said, how would your best friend describe you? And I was like, I'm not going to do this. I'm going to go get my best friend to, write something. And I think I've still got it here of what he said. And that is doubling down on me. What he said, let me just see for a second. Let me see.
I love this. I love that you have it.
Yeah, I was like, I'm saving this. Yep, okay. All right. So he said, the most charismatic person you'll ever meet. A born leader who can inspire and rally a group of people with ease. Never afraid of taking on new challenges, and is undeterred even when they have never done before. And it goes on, right? Bursting with energy, always on the lookout for new ways. So, it's a really beautiful thing. I've literally printed it out, and to remind me, this is doubling down on me. So if you can go out, ask your friends, whether it be your biz besties, whether it be your family, whether it be your friends, and it's like, what is the thing that you love most about me? Right? What is, and you can, whether you ask your clients or whether they say this in their things, like, this is why I work with you. Those are the things you want to capture within your content and within the way that you show up, because boom, that is when you see the big shift of your dream people coming to want to work with you.
Literally that. And that's when like one post will get people like paying in full for your highest ticket offer, because you can see when a post's been written by like Chat GPT or whatever. You can just tell it, because it doesn't have like the zest. I mean, I feel like AI is great for so many things, but for your messaging, just be you. If your voice is calm, be calm. If you're really intellectual and you use lots of uncommon vocabulary, use it. If you swear, swear. If you're goofy, lean into being goofy. Like, just be yourself. And this is, we spoke about comparison earlier on. Stop comparing. And like, what colors do you love? Look around your home, like all of those things, and just start to lean into that. And yeah, I think if you've already got clients as well, maybe ask them like, why did you hire me? Can you just let me know? Like, I literally ask that on every discovery call that I have for one-to-one. Why did you book this call with me? Because it's great to hear it. And also you can make a little note and be like, this is why they signed up with me. Oh, it was that post. Okay, cool. Oh, it was. And then you start to understand this is your magic sauce,
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. I think that's so spot on. It's like, what does doubling down on you look like? What is your magic sauce? The answers are literally there right in front of you. And that's how you stand out. That's how you be bold. That's how you be seen. I think that's so freaking powerful. So powerful. Han, thank you so, so much for jumping on, for joining me. For anybody who wants more of you, right, which is safe to say I think will be... Like, you're only human. You're only human, we need a bit of Hannah in our life. We need the tapping queen in our life. So what does it look like to come and work with you and experience more of this?
Well, it's obviously amazing, wherever you join, because we just have a blast. And there are a couple of different programs that help at different levels of business. So whether you're brand new, whether you're already making 10, 15, 20K months. So come and check out my profile for those. But I guess the most important thing that I want to push at the moment is the tapping membership. I don't know exactly when this podcast is coming out, but it will probably be live by the time that it is, or if it's not, we'll have a wait list. But that's going to be priced around $25 a month, and it's just like endless tapping for entrepreneurs and business owners. So yeah,
absolute no-brainer.
Yeah, exactly.
100%. So we'll make sure we grab that, put that in the show notes below. Han, thank you so, so much. Quote something that you live by, a statement that gets you, gets you to be your most powerful self. Let's finish on that. Is there a statement or something that you say to yourself that's like, the beast, the fire comes out?
It comes from a fellow Australian. I can't think what her surname is, but she's called she's a famous Australian. She like had a skydiving accident. I don't know if you know who she is, but her statement is, if I can, I must. And it's that it got me through my knee surgeries way back when. And it's that idea of like, if you can do something, then you must do it. So if you can get on Instagram and be your boldest, most confident self, you must.
I love it. Thank you so much, Han. Said M after that. Thank you so much, Han.
Yeah, sorry. Thank you so much for having me. Honestly, it's been a joy.